You are about to listen to a Jason Burgos exclusive interview. All right, so I'll jump right into the questions right away now. The last time we talked, you were mixed on what you wanted to do next after, losing your fourth straight fight, and an extended hiatus was a possibility. In the end, you took about 6 months or so off, which seems to be about your usual in between bouts. So did you know in recent months you were ready to get back into the cage? What, was the offer to fight kind of recent and sudden, and you're like, you know what, let me just get back in there and take a chance?
I don't know. I probably took like 2 months after the fight, and I was like, you know what, forget fighting. I'm done with it. Bull. It's crap. I'm done. I don't like. There's some. Those guys judging fights that don't know what they're talking about. Like I was just, salty. And I sat around kind of doing nothing, kind of working on my YouTube and playing video games on Twitch and stuff like that, and doing a couple of private lessons here and there. And then I was missing something, Felt like a little empty inside. And I started training a little bit just to, stay fit and stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what? Let's go for another one, bro. You got this.
I mean, the obvious, really important follow-up question is, what video games were you playing on Twitch?
I was big into Fortnite. I was playing a lot of Fortnite with like my buddy Chris Wade and a couple of our buddies. And then when Black Ops 4 came out, I was playing that.
What the heck do you do in Fortnite? I keep hearing about it. I still haven't played it yet.
Fortnite is like it's a battle royale, meaning like 100 people, drop in.
So like
you can drop in anywhere. Huh?
Like the Star Wars game, sort of.
I'm not really sure. I've never played that game.
What's the
the
same
100
thing?
people
Yeah.
drop in, and the map gets smaller and smaller, and the idea is to be the last one standing.
Are you often the last one standing?
No. And I mean, there's a lot of elements to it, building little forts and your aim and how you play and stuff like that. So I'm more of a squad player. I like playing with other people, and I'm not like the star of the squad, but I like hold my own. I got like a little role that I play in the squad.
All right.
So I have a good amount of squad wins.
Yeah. Well, it's Wade. Who else? Any other fighters? Long Island MMA fighters?
I mean, I played a little bit of Call of Duty with Kamaru Usman.
Okay.
I've played Call of Duty with Gian Vellante and Stipe. That was going back a while, but that's about it.
Do you do any EA UFC?
I get a lot of people asking me to play that. It's like, man, like I'm not trying to play a game that I do in real life. I like to play games where I am doing stuff that I can't do live. So like, whether it's racing a Porsche at like 200 miles per hour and crashing it and not dying, or shooting people in the head, but like beating people up with moves that I use. It's like, man, I'm already doing that. What do I? It's like. Like, do you go home and play a video game where you record people and, like, do interviews? Like, no.
No, yeah. That's just no. No. All right, fair enough. Now, I mean, back to the fighting end of things. How much influence did, like, your coaches have in the decision to come back? Were they, at all pushing one way or the other, or not really?
No.
It was just all you?
No, they understood both ways, because, I mean, if I were to walk away from the sport, it's just like, man, you have like an asterisk next to your name on like kind of why you walked away from the sport. It's like, dude, you're getting hosed. Like, I get it. How many times are you going to play like a game with someone and they keep like cheating you or you get screwed where you're like, all right, man, you know what? I don't want to play that game anymore. I'm cool with it,
I mean, but in the end, you're still willing to play the game. Is it just clear? Is it a love for the sport? Is it just like you chalk it up to just you are the victim of a really weird circumstance of events? Like, did you actually was there ever serious thought like, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore? Like, did you really
Yeah, yeah. After that fight, or going into that fight, I'm like, if I lose this guy, man, I'm hanging up the gloves. And then after the third round, I'm like, I won, sick. And then I didn't win. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, man, like I wasn't planning on retiring, but fuck, I guess I'm going to. And then I sat around for a little bit, and I was like, nah, you got that.
I mean, we talked about finances the last time too. What you lost out from, and because of the decisions and what you could have earned instead. Could you just also not afford to sit on the sidelines anymore?
I mean, I could while like getting a real job. But I'm like, then I'd have to touch into my investments and stuff like that, which I don't want to do. I want to keep,
Now, going into this new fight next week or a little more than a week away, what intrigues you about the Edwards fight specifically, if anything? Or is it not a matter of who you fought, you just wanted to get back in there no matter who it was?
I mean, it kind of didn't matter who I fought, but what I like about Edwards is that he's pretty green.
Just take advantage of his experience.
Yeah, I mean, before I got to the UFC, I used to fight at lightweight, and I was 7-0 at one point. Like we went before the UFC, like me and this guy might have crossed paths. The only reason I dropped down to 45 is just because there was the opportunity to get to hop on the Ultimate Fighter quicker than waiting for 155 to come back around again.
So this fight is at 155. I never realized that.
Yeah.
Is there any changes you have to make, or it's just a difference of not really having to cut as much?
I mean, you nailed that right in the head, man. I don't have to cut as much.
And also, you can enjoy some meals a little bit more often. Like this week, I'm sure this week has been fantastic.
Yeah, you're not lying. Well, the thing is, this week, usually when I'm fighting at 45, it's like I'm like starting my weight cut.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm doing like a lot more cardio, sweating a lot, you know what I mean? Whereas this week, man, I've been able to go hard versus like trying to sweat.
And I mean, you've been in the sport for a long time. You're a high level athlete. When you're going up and you don't have to cut anymore, do you like let yourself enjoy indulgences? Do you have a donut, or do you still eat super clean no matter what?
No, I'm eating clean. I'm trying to. Cause the thing is, I naturally walk around when I'm being like a fat ass around like 175.
Okay.
I've tipped the scales at like low 80s. And the thing is, like, working out with Greg Gillespie and Chris Wade, it's not like these guys are overpowering me. Like, the only reason, like, you got that position is because, like, you're stronger than me. That's not the case. Like, I'm just as strong as those guys. So, and those guys had success at lightweights. Like when I used to spar with Ali Quinta, like, he's killing at 140, 155. And I'm right there with all those guys. So it's not like. Yeah. The only reason why I went to 45 is just because I did the show at 145, and I just it's not broken, don't fix it,
Right. I mean, and I'm glad you also mentioned the experience thing, 'cause I was going to bring that up too. You have a huge experience gap with 17 more fights than Edwards, 16 of your fights in the UFC alone. Explain to me, and if this is uploaded, who's listening, like the differences in how experience can make a big difference in a fight on a technical level in the moment. Like, how does experience help so much, especially for someone like you that's fought at the highest levels almost as many times as he's fought?
I think mindset, I mean, it goes either way. I mean, sometimes the less you know, the better that is, like, I don't know anything, like, fuck it, I'm just going to go my hardest, and then there is like, I don't know that much. I might be second guessing myself, or, so, there's, I mean, at the end of the day, man, small gloves. You gotta like, your pace work and stuff like that. And I mean, watching tape on Edwards, it seems like if he makes it out of the first round, if he gets past the first round, he's in trouble with most of his fights. He's like a first round guy, blitz. So,
Now, for a fighter who's had a very good career and up until this run of bad luck since 2017, is there a mounting mental pressure from the consecutive losses? As you know, as this goes further along, does it go from a pressure of I need to get into a win to get into contention to a need to win just to stay in the UFC, and which is a very different level of pressure. Has it been a thing where it keeps mounting after a certain point? Like, and how do you fight that to not let it affect you?
To be honest with you, either way, I don't care.
Okay.
Like I just fuck it. I don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, and all those things you just said are things that I can't control.
Right.
So I've been working with a mental coach a little bit, and when just focus on things you can control. I can control going out there and putting my all into it and being at my best. That's the goal. Everything else, as long as I do that, will fall into place.
How many? Just out of curiosity, how many fights do you have left on your UFC contract? If you can say that or not.
I don't know. I know I signed a contract. I think after the Korean Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this could be my last fight. I don't know, and I don't really care. I'm not worried about it.
Well, so let's say it is your last fight for fun hypothetical question's sake. If they win or lose, let's say they choose not to re-sign you, are you at peace with that, and are you completely fine and open to someone going somewhere else? Are you interested in maybe going somewhere else now at this point? Maybe are you tired of the UFC?
Nah, I mean, for me to go somewhere else, they'd have to offer me a boatload of money.
Would something like the PFL interest you? Just win and $1 million?
I mean, maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
What draws your interest? Is it just to compete at the highest levels? Is it interesting fights, or is it at this point just trying to make as much money to secure your future?
I mean, money does play a big part, like so far in the UFC, especially with these losses, I haven't been able to make money and put money away. Exactly. I've been just like, I lose and I have enough money to survive until I fight again, really. What I mean? Like I have enough money for like 6 months, because right now I'm making $50,000 to fight, $50,000 to win. So if I only make $50,000, I got to pay my manager, my coaches, the whole camp, flights or hotels, and at the end of the day, and taxes. At the end of the day, what's that, like $25,000?
Yeah. I mean, does that get frustrating? I mean, because you've been in the company so long, you've given the proverbial blood, sweat, and tears into this promotion. Does it? Let's say you are able to free agency, and I talked to Eddie Alvarez a few months ago, and he talked about how it's good to go out there and test your value, and you can never learn your full value if you keep re-signing. Would you, I know you'd rather stay in the UFC, but would you rather test free agency because feeling you are worth more than 50 and 50?
Well, I mean, it's not that I'm not that I'm. I mean, 50 and 50 is a lot of money, if I win 3 fights in a year, that's $300,000. Obviously I pay tax on that and stuff like that. Like, with that, I could start putting money away and saving and stuff like that. But, only making 150,
right.
And having to pay for everything. 150 is equivalent to, I don't know, 75. Long Island's expensive. I have a house. I've got kids.
Yeah.
A girlfriend, the whole nine. So it's, and I'm not like balling out of control. Like, I can't pick between these 3 sneakers. I'm going to get them all. Like, if I can't pick between the 3 sneakers, I don't get any.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, man, it's if you were in the NBA for 8 years, you're doing pretty good. You're solid.
Well, how about this? Because I've heard this idea brought up, and I'm totally for it. Would you be a person that, and maybe this can only happen with eventually one day a union forcing the issue, but that's a bigger story. Would you prefer more like instead of 50 and 50, where a huge amount of money is left in the hands of judges who really may not be qualified to do it, and maybe it was more like you get 80 guaranteed? Would you like something like more guaranteed instead of win the show?
Yeah, because I've had this discussion with a few people. Like, if it was like, all right, man, you're getting 100 to fight. Like, all right, cool. Like, there's no chance I'm like, you know what? I'll lay down the first round and take my money and walk. There's no fighter is going to do that.
Right.
And if they are, they're not going to last long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's doing that. You know, they're not like, well, there's, I wouldn't fight harder or less hard if it was 15-50 or 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting harder or less hard with that being. I want to win. Like, I try not to even think about the money. I'm just like, yo, you cross the cage, I'm fucking you up. Like, we're walking out here and and everyone's gonna know that I'm the better man.